Today what we're going to do is we're going to put your face on a foreign currency. So we're going to find paper money and then do that. So first thing, let's look at foreign paper money on Mr. Google. Let's go to Tools, go to Large Images and find yourself a bill there. So we'll grab this one right here, but you can find your own, whichever one you like. When we're going over here, you're going to right click on it and go Copy Image. Then we're going to go into Photoshop. And in here we're going to go File, New Document. We're going to choose Web as our template. Web Large, 1920 by 1080. Let's name that Mo Money. And make sure it's landscape. Make sure you disable artboards. And everything else is good here, so just hit Create. Now we're going to go Control V to paste our money. Now remember to resize your money so it fits the page. Okay, whenever you're done resizing, just hit enter. Next step what we're going to do is, remember, we always duplicate our layer when we're working on it. Okay, let's lock that back layer, poke it in the eye, and let's work with this one. Double click on the name of it and let's call it My Money Blank. So what we're going to do with this layer, we're going to remove roughly where the head is, and that's where we're going to put your head. We use the lasso tool, so we're going to use the lasso tool and get close to the head here. Just kind of get as close as you can. You're going to do a better job than I am, just trying to kind of show you the process. So once that's filled, you're going to go up to Edit. You're going to come down to Fill, and then in Fill, right here where it says Contents, you're going to hit Content Aware and then hit the OK button. And what will happen here is, around the image you'll see that there's enough of a blank space for you to be able to put your head in it. Now when Content Aware fills, sometimes we'll look at different areas of the photo, and sometimes you get weird things like this. What we can end up doing is we can grab, once again, the lasso tool. We can go back in, get this area, pick it up a little bit better. Once again, go back to Edit, go to Fill, make sure that we go Content Aware again, hit OK, and you can see it got a little bit better. And remember, our head's going to go over this space, so it's not necessarily has to be super clean. Okay, next, we're going to go and grab our image. So there's my picture of my head. Just use any of the pictures that you have already, or you can use your phone because we're not going to be using the cameras here until I come back. So now we're going to take the image and just in our folder, going to drag it down here to Photoshop and then back in here. And if we hold it, you'll see that our picture comes in. I'm just going to hit enter. And then remember, if we get that icon, we have to click on the image and rasterize layer to get rid of that smart layer. Okay, next we click up here on opacity. We just got to drop it down. Then let's get rid of stuff that we don't need. So we're just going to roughly draw a quick little area around it. We're going to select the inverse. So we select the inverse, otherwise, so we drew that. If we normally hit delete, it would get rid of that. By hitting inverse, you're deleting the opposite part of it, which is what we want. We brought down the opacity so we could see through it. And now we can just kind of click somewhere else. Click on the Move tool. Let's move that over to where the head is. Resize it. And remember, we got rid of where the original image is. So remember, we got rid of the background layer there. Okay, so now what we can do is as we go through it, we can then start to get rid of the neck part. So now you guys will use your lasso tool. Remember, you'll take little bites off of this, hit the delete key, little bites delete, and then eventually you'll go all the way around, cut your head there. Okay, so the next step is for us to look at original picture. We're just going to hide our layer there, and what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure that we're going around here just where the shirt cuts. So I'm just using going into that other layer to make sure that I'm picking the opposite part of this. So right now I just kind of picked roughly where the head is. I'm going to go back to my picture layer, make sure it's selected. And in here, I'm just going to use the eraser tool. And I'm just going to erase. And notice that because I drew that area there, as I'm erasing, it's just getting rid of whatever's inside my box there. Okay. So going in there. Okay. And checking and going through it and erasing, Control D. So next, I'm just going to bring back my opacity all the way back to 100%. So now I have my head there. I need to just maybe resize it a little bit better. And there, it's looking pretty close there. I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, and we're going to desaturate it to make it black and white. Next, we're going to go to Image, Adjustments. We're going to adjust levels to make sure that we can get roughly the right value and get the right tonal value. Adjust those. Now, there's pattern here called etching and stuff, and later on we will learn how to be able to do that, but for right now, what you're going to end up doing is once that's done, we're just going to create one more layer on top of all of these. And in here, we're going to create a different layer. So we're just going to click this guy right here. And in here, we're going to do hue and saturation there. It's going to go on top of all of these. And as soon as you click hue and saturation, this window will pop up. It's not opening up here for my window. So in here, now what I can do is I'm just going to bring this whole money down. I'm just going to take the saturation down from the money and bring it all down. So this is on a brand new hue and saturation layer. We're just changing this here. We're bringing down the saturation so that the paper becomes just black and white. And there is the paper with that hue and saturation layers. Then we're going to create a brand new layer on top. And this one here is going to be our color money layer. And in here we are going to decide to put in a color on top using the paint bucket tool. So we'll click in there. And then in here we're going to click and we're going to go through these blending modes as far as layers go. And we're going to find whatever color you want, and you can change this to, and we're just going to use these different blending modes until you find a blending mode that you're like, yes, it kind of gives it just a different color, so just not black and white. I kind of like that, and that will be the currency that we were done. Now your job is to do 2 more bills. So this one's 100, you need to do a 50 and a 20 with that. Okay, well, good luck to you and have fun.